In a world full of bad news, this podcast is a source of good news, real talk, and real inspiration. On this show, you'll hear stories of growth, legacy, and entrepreneurship. Everyday people who overcome real challenges to build something meaningful. My name is Stephen Padernacht, third generation Bronx born and raised in the real estate game. This is the Padernacht Podcast, Brick by Brick. Today on the Padernacht Podcast, Brick by Brick, I'm excited to welcome a fellow Keller Williams powerhouse in real estate, Paige Castiello, better known on Instagram as the Real Estate Paige. Paige is a licensed agent servicing both New York and Connecticut, and she's built her brand on helping clients make smart moves with confidence. What I like about Paige is that she's not just selling homes, she's building lasting relationships, educating her clients every step of the way, and bringing her authentic energy to the real estate game. So,
thank you so much for that introduction.
What do you feel when you hear an introduction like that?
I feel like I sat up taller. I was like, oh my God. It makes me feel great. Thank you so much for introducing me with such beautiful, great words.
Yeah, well, I did. So you and I have crossed paths numerous times.
Yes.
And there was something about your energy and your tenacity that really kind of stuck out to me. And that's why I asked you to be a guest on today's show, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about your journey and kind of what led you here.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm really excited to be here. When you reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, because I had seen Vanessa Villanueva come on the podcast. I love her so much. And I was like, that just looks so cool. And I loved seeing all those videos. Good.
Well, I want to kind of go back a little bit, right? So through my diligent research on you, I found out that you're from the Bronx.
Yes, I am.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Born, raised, still live in the Bronx.
And you ended up in a Scarsdale Keller Williams office.
Yes. So one of my best friends from high school, her mother also works for Keller Williams, Debbie Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so she, me, Debbie, my mom, Brianna, we all get together a couple times a year and we go to dinner. And I was telling her how I was getting my license. And as soon as she heard that, she was like, you're coming with me where I go, like a protective, mama bear. But also she loves Keller Williams and, Jamal, our broker, so much. So she was like, I really want you to be in a good place. And so she brought me to the Scarsdale office. So that was the first place I interviewed, and I went with it.
So that office, so you walked into the new building, the one that's there now, right?
Yes.
When I first started and when I first met Jamal, it was a small house that had I believe it was a salon on the first floor, and then Jamal's, the KW office was upstairs, and then he had the second and third floor.
You know what's funny? I think if you Google the office now, it still comes up as a tiny house.
Yeah.
Like on Google Photos or Google Earth or something like that.
What Jamal has been able to do there by building that, I remember when he was going through the construction, and it was, listen, we'll get into your new construction stories soon, but going through it, and waiting for the elevator permits and waiting for all these permits to come in, and you're sitting there and Jamal's trying to run a business out of it. It's just so admirable to see that he's now fostered that environment there. What do you think about the office itself and the culture of KW? I would imagine that it's been a positive influence on you.
Well, like I said, it was the first place I interviewed, and I decided to stay with them and just go with them because I felt in my gut that it was such a good environment, and I felt like people, I walked in, everyone said hello, they greeted you.
Mm-hmm.
It's it wasn't like they just rushed past you, went about their day, and from the first week I started, I had people really interested in my story or how I'm liking the experience of being there and asking me how I need help and encouraging me to go to classes so that I could learn more. And I just felt like it was an environment of education and an environment of collaboration. And I've always thrived in team environments. I was always an athlete, and I liked school. So education and collaboration and, good people being around me is that's what I enjoy.
So you were born and raised in the Bronx. I think you said you went to Preston High School?
Yes.
How was your high school experience? Did you find that any lessons that you might have learned there have helped you along your career so far?
Everything I learned there has helped me along my career so far.
Really?
I think Preston High School is I don't know if I'm biased because I went there and I had such a good experience, but I think it is just like it fosters such strong, independent women of compassion, dignity, honor, and respect, which is their slogan.
That their tagline? Yep.
Yeah, women of dignity, honor, and respect. And where this Sisters of Divine Compassion is our nun habit.
Yep.
So I really think they instill that in you, and it's an all-girls school, and all of the teachers really empower you, and they make you feel like you can do anything, and you can bring them suggestions of like clubs you want to start or this idea that you have for yourself, and they help you run with it. Like I've always had supportive teachers, we have supportive administration, and I felt like my education I just felt like I was so supported there.
And did you grow up in the church?
Yes.
So it was natural for you. Did you go to Catholic grammar school?
I went to Catholic
also?
grammar school. I went from 3 years old till I was 13, and it was in the same school, St. Francis Xavier in Morris Park.
Oh, I know it very well.
Yeah, so that's where I went to grammar school, and then I went to Preston High School, and then Pace University, which wasn't a Catholic university anymore, but it actually, I believe, used to be a Catholic university, which is how I actually got a full scholarship there. I won an essay contest.
Really?
Which had to do with a nun that served on the board of Preston and also the board of Pace University.
Interesting.
So the essay was based around her, and my essay was the essay that won.
And that essay got you a full ride to Pace?
Pace, yeah.
Really, for all 4 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been a strong essay.
I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky that my essay won.
Do you remember who the nun was?
It was Sister Loretta Carey.
And she was somebody who
She had passed away at that point.
Okay.
But she had previously, they set up the scholarship in like remembrance of her.
Okay.
Because she was such a big part of the community.
And what did that include? Like, in other words, it was like her impact on your life, or was it just really about her?
It had to do with her and you kind of separately. So because I never knew her, but basically you like read this whole thing about her legacy, and then you have to write like what that means to you, and then also incorporate how it like inspires you in your life and what you plan to do moving forward to live like Sister Loretta Carey, and like an essay along those lines.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for that. That was like really a blessing, especially I'm one of 4 kids. Like
a free ride to college for
Yeah.
an essay. I mean, I'm sure you spent a lot of time on the essay, but I mean, the benefits that came from that, getting all 4 years covered is amazing.
Yeah, I'm very proud, but I feel very blessed about it.
How was your experience at Pace? Does Pace you have dorms there, or is it a commuter school?
It's mostly a commuter school, but there are dorms, and they even, like my year that I went in, they had like just the year before finished putting up these huge buildings called Alumni Hall.
Okay.
Where they were like brand new dorms. Like honestly, my dorms were not like the horror stories of like dorms in college. They were beautiful and expensive. That's why they're so beautiful. But no, Pace, I had a great experience. So it was a really small school, and honestly, if I didn't get the full scholarship, I mean, I had toured Pace and I thought it was beautiful and it has great education, but if I didn't get that full scholarship, I probably would have went to the University of Delaware. That's a little bit bigger and has more of like a like sports environment. But even Pace being small, it was really cool because you know everyone, and I'm super social, so I had a great time. I made like 3 different friend groups that all could mesh together or not. So I had a great experience.
I went to it's now called Post or Long Island University Post, but when I went there it was CW Post, and it was like a larger version of high school.
Yeah.
It was a mostly commuter school, but there was maybe like 4 or 5 dormitories on the campus, so it was a smaller experience where you kind of knew everybody.
Yeah, similar.
And I enjoyed that. And my alternative, right, I got into St. John's, which is a huge school.
Right.
And then, of course, I, toyed with the idea of, like, going to, like, Florida or, like, one of these big schools.
Right.
But when it came down to it, my high school experience, I went to Fordham Prep. So, I had told you I'm from the Bronx also.
Yeah.
Catholic school. I started in public school. Then my mom put me in Catholic school for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And then from there, they didn't give me a choice. It was like, you're going to Fordham Prep.
Right.
I didn't really appreciate that, but now I do. And then so when it came time for college, a couple of my friends were going to Post, and it was between, St. John's or Post. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing the same thing that I did at Fordham, which was go in there and basically make all brand new friends. I'm going to go where my boys are going, and I ended up going there. Which, in hindsight, was a great decision because, like, it just strengthened our relationship so much more.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, you're saying, like, I was thinking about going to Florida. A nice thing about staying close is, like, I could still go home for Sunday dinners. Yeah. And if I ever, like, really was down bad, I'd be like, Mom, I'm going to come home. And, like, she would, like, literally give me trays of food to take back with me. So that's a positive of staying close.
I think that's the Italian side right there, Sunday dinners, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you always have Sunday dinners growing up?
Yep, every Sunday.
It was like a staple?
Yeah. Sometimes in the summer, it's a little bit less. Like, we'll barbecue instead. But, like, even my mom sent out a text literally today, like, tomorrow's, like, one of the first Sundays of the fall, Sunday dinner, big pot of gravy. Everyone come over.
So in your household, it's gravy, not sauce?
Yeah. We call it gravy.
I always find that funny when I'm speaking to somebody who comes from an Italian family. Like, so is it gravy or sauce? And they're like, well, it really depends on how you make it.
Right. So, and, like, I'm not, like, gonna police people about it.
Of course.
But, like, gravy is typically when you cook the meat in the sauce.
Yep.
And my mom does that. But I just grew up calling it gravy.
Yeah.
Like, and then I got to, like, middle school and people were like, it's sauce, it's gravy. I'm like, all right, well, it's delicious either way. I eat it every Sunday. My mom makes the best meatballs. So.
There it is. And you said you have siblings, right? How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings.
Older, younger?
One older, 2 younger.
Okay. So very busy, bustling household growing up.
Oh, yeah.
How did you find growing up in such a busy household? Did you enjoy it? Was there sibling rivalries?
I guess I, like, didn't know anything else because I also have so many cousins, and we're always together. So for me, like, I had so much fun, and, like, my siblings are incredibly close. Like, me and my older sister are 2 years apart.
Okay,
and
that's good.
I've shared a room with both of my sisters. So all 3 of us were in one room. And there were definitely fist fights. And there were definitely verbal fights and yelling. But then we'd be punished to the same room.
Yeah.
So you get over it pretty quickly.
Because you have to sit there and look at the person that you were just fighting and be punished.
Right. So you get over it pretty quickly. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing because we're all just, like, so close.
So you have one brother?
One brother.
And he's the youngest?
And he got his own room because he's the only boy.
And he's the youngest?
He's the third.
The third. Okay, so he's right underneath you on the totem pole.
Yeah, so Devin's 2 years older. Carmine is 4 years younger. Okay. And then Renee is 7 years younger than me. So my parents had 4 kids in 9 years. So there's a little bit of space between, like, some of us.
Yeah, so I'm very similar for me. So I'm the youngest of 3 boys. My oldest brother is 7 years older. My middle brother is 5 years older.
Right.
So that age gap kind of, you grow up. For me personally, like, and maybe your younger sibling, especially your youngest sister, is 7 years. Who's she still in college? I imagine.
Yeah,
still in school?
Yeah.
So, like, I grew up, like, looking up to my brother. Like, he was like this, because that 7-year difference is a big thing.
No, my little sister one time said to me, I'm more scared to tell Devin things than I am to tell mommy because, like, Devin is, like, her idol. It's like, and also feels like a part mother because Devin's 9 years older than her.
Yes.
And so, Devin's 17 driving and Renee's, like, 8 years old. So Devin really did. And, like, my parents both working, like, we have to watch them sometimes. We have to do this. So, like, Renee feels like Devin's partially her mother, but also her, like, idol.
That tight family dynamic, I feel like, is extremely important, especially for kids growing up. Because you have somebody to go to. Like, when you don't grow up in that sort of environment, you're kind of, I don't want to say that you're jaded, but, like, you don't have the benefit of bouncing ideas and also just over, like, conflict, right? Like you said, you're fighting with your siblings and then you're punished to the same room. You get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As opposed to somebody who would hold a grudge because if they got into a fight with somebody at school or whatever, because they don't necessarily have that dynamic.
Right. They're not, like, dealing with conflict every day in their house or with their siblings, someone their same age, like having to learn how to, like, account for someone else's feelings all the time. And, because that's what it is when you have siblings. Like, that's your first first socialization.
Yeah, for sure. And you had said that you were an athlete growing up?
Yeah.
What kind of athlete were you? What
So
did you
my
do?
main sport was basketball. When I was
Really?
young in grammar school, I coached basketball still.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get that as part of the background research.
Yeah, no, I am a big time basketball girl. And I feel more comfortable in basketball shorts than I do in like anything else.
In a dress suit.
Yeah, literally. But basically, like growing up, I did everything. Like I played softball, soccer. My main thing was always basketball. I did gymnastics. I was a cheerleader. And then in high school, it was soccer and basketball. So I played basketball from November until the end of July.
Yep.
And then August, September, October would be soccer.
Wow. And did you play in high school also?
Yeah.
And college?
No. So I tore my ACL my senior year of high school, like my senior year, the day after Christmas.
Wow.
And the recovery on that it was the full 9 months for me. Mm-hmm. But the surgery that I first had was done, like, it wasn't done wrong, I would say, but a piece of my bone chipped off in surgery and they didn't notice. Ooh. So it was floating in the back of my knee and white blood cells calcified around it because they thought it was a foreign object. So, like, 2 years later, my knee's still not healed. It's still swelling. I just thought I was going to live like this forever. Like, I had knee surgery. It was a ligament. I was like, oh, this must be how it is.
Yeah.
You know, when I would play basketball, I couldn't make sharp movements still because I had a ball in the back of my knee.
Of course, yeah.
And I came home and I was limping. And my mom was like, why are you limping? I'm like, oh, this happens sometimes. Because I had a party. I was wearing heels. My mom's like, what do you mean this happens sometimes? Like, this doesn't happen sometimes. My knee was like blown up. I was limping. And I'm like 19 years old. My mom was like, this is not normal.
Yeah,
so we got another MRI. They didn't know what it was, but then they were like, we're going to do surgery, go in. We're going to remove the obstruction that we don't even know what it is.
Yep.
And then we'll see if the ACL is still intact. So the ACL was still intact.
Thank goodness.
And they just had to remove this like calcified ball in the back of my knee that at the center was a piece of bone.
And after that, you didn't have any more issues with your knee blowing up.
No, then I could work out again. I could run again. And I felt like my old self again.
Shout
it was
out
really
to
great.
Mom for realizing that's not normal.
Yeah, she's like, no, that's not what happens. You're supposed to be healed.
Yes, and so you grew up in a household with 3 siblings, and also played team sports.
Yes.
So what that tells me is that you are a team player.
Oh, absolutely. And I always say, like, if I have kids, I don't care if they're not athletic and they can do other things they want to do, but they're young, going to join team sports. Like, that is going to happen. That's it. Like,
and what benefit do you think that you got from it?
Oh my God, so much. I mean, learning what dedication and commitment is, you know, like learning to show up and give 100% of yourself. Like, I believe what you get out of this life is what you put into it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that stems from sports for me. You know, just the hustle that sports teach you, and that, you know, you gotta like, there's no like failing. You just gotta keep picking yourself up and going and getting better, improvement. Also dealing with other people and other personalities. You know, you have to, if a team is at war with each other, you're never going to win on the court. Mm-hmm. So it teaches you how to, you know, again, socialization, communication. Mm-hmm. Communication is the biggest thing in basketball. Verbal, nonverbal. I think sports like is really so important, especially team sports.
If you had to choose between soccer or softball or basketball to watch a game, which would it be?
I'm a huge Yankees fan.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good.
Big Bronx girl. I'm a Yankees fan. I grew up going to games so many, like, oh my God. But basketball. Yeah, that's where my heart is. That's the sport that I just think is not only the most fun, but just like the most back and forth.
You're a Knicks fan?
So, yes, and I'm not like a diehard Knicks fan. Like, I'm going to scream if they don't win. But, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. I actually went to one of the playoff games.
Oh, really?
Was
it one of the games they won?
No, it was actually the worst game of the whole series. It was game 3, okay, which was supposed to be like a crazy game. They won the 2 away at Boston. Oh, my God, if they win this, they're basically sweeping the series. This is crazy.
Hype. Oh, my Lord.
We lost by over 30?
30, yeah, 30 plus.
I was like this. Okay.
Did you stay for the whole 4 quarters?
Yes, I did. Okay, I paid for those tickets. I'm staying for the whole 4 quarters.
Oh, those tickets were expensive too.
Well, I also, someone I know works at MSG, and they put me into their work lottery.
Okay.
So I was also a little bit lucky in getting those tickets. So I
right.
paid like the base price of them.
Okay.
Not like the resale Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were still expensive.
Of course, yeah.
But
the hottest tickets in town.
yeah, it was a little bit less expensive than it would have been if I bought them on like straight up Ticketmaster or something like that.
So I admittedly am not a Knicks fan. I know you might be fooled by the shirt that I'm wearing.
I am
but if you
fooled.
notice, the shirt is not necessarily a Knicks shirt, right? So it's HGRN.
Yeah, but that's the logo.
Yeah, so I got this shirt yesterday. Big shout out to my boy Lewis, who gave me. This is actually his brand.
Is he a Knicks fan?
He is a diehard
He's pushing
Knicks fan.
his pushing his agenda
he
on
is a
you.
Knicks fan. But so I met him for lunch yesterday, and he was like, "Yo, I got these new shirts down here. Take a shirt," and I wanted to just promote it on the episode. So thanks, Lewis. Appreciate you, bro. The shirt is very comfy.
Oh, I love that.
But I am not a Knicks fan, unfortunately.
What are you a fan?
So growing up, I was a Michael Jordan fan. So
Okay.
by default, I was a Knicks, a Bulls fan.
Right.
But when he left the Bulls, I followed him to the Wizards, and like I never really found a team. To be honest with you, I was just a huge Jordan fan, and I still am to this day. And I hated the Knicks. I hated Patrick Ewing. I feel like Patrick Ewing was super overrated.
Yeah.
I felt like he was a choke artist.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I felt like he was a choke artist. I felt like my favorite Knick player was Larry Johnson, who not necessarily him and Latrell Sprewell. But everybody else I kind of hated. I hated Oakley. I hated Ewing. I hated Starks, and especially I hated the way everybody.
So you really are a good friend for wearing that shirt.
Yes, I am. I am. I hated the way everybody loved John Starks and said that he dunked on Michael Jordan when he did not really dunk on Michael Jordan.
Okay, so this is really just that you're such a Michael Jordan fan.
Yes.
Any blasphemy towards
Yes.
Michael Jordan, that his
Yes.
team is cut out.
Yes. But this is not about me. So you would prefer to watch. So you would prefer? You said basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
Gotcha. Okay. So you did not play in college. So what was it like going into Pace on that scholarship and being able to now leave being, I guess, an athlete and now just focus on your studies?
It was honestly really hard, like shedding the identity of athlete. And I mean, I guess I didn't really shed it. Like, I am an athlete till this day. Like, I don't think that's something you lose, especially because I still coach and I work out and I run. And I also have played in co-ed rec leagues since my knee's been fixed. But it was definitely hard because, playing sports was just a part of my everyday life and my routine from the age of 6 years old.
Wow.
So to have that almost taken away from me versus choosing to stop was really hard for me to accept because it was such a big part of my identity, and how like so many people know me. But I'm also another part of who I am is like I'm very social and outgoing, and I've always loved making friends, whether it's in sports or out of sports. So I kind of just went into college open, and on my freshman year roommate was like the greatest roommate you could ever have. We are still like best friends till this day.
That's awesome.
And it was like kind of a random thing. So I was really lucky with that, but also very open and social.
And I imagine that I think you said that you were a psychology major?
Psychology and history. I ended up, when I graduated, I made history a minor.
Really?
Because my senior year, I could have either had my schedule completely packed and graduated with both of them as my major, or I basically had already finished my psychology major and I could have just taken like 3 history classes for the whole year to then finish it as a minor.
Gotcha.
So I did that.
And did you have to focus on a specific type of period of history?
No, actually, I had to choose like 2 classes from like all different kinds of history. So I had to like kind of cover the globe.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a big history buff.
Oh my God, I am a huge history nerd.
You should go back and watch the episode. I had the Bronx historian on an episode.
I will definitely
His name
watch
is
that.
Angel Hernandez. And we had such an amazing talk. Like the episode went like I think almost 2 hours long. Like,
Yeah.
And I so much so that I'm gonna bring him back for another episode, and just to focus on specific neighborhoods. Maybe Indian Village, maybe Kingsbridge, where I'm from, like Kingsbridge, Riverdale area.
Yeah.
But I am a huge history buff.
Love
Do
history.
you like a good documentary?
Yeah. But like I like if it's about what I want to learn about.
Of course, yeah.
But I'm a huge like ancient civilization history nerd.
Ooh,
so
Egypt and
Egypt,
Rome?
I'm literally reading a book about Cleopatra.
Really?
I love Cleopatra so much. So much. But like like Egypt, Rome, but like the Mesopotamia, like the whole Fertile Crescent, Aztecs, Mayans, anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big nerd about that.
So I'm more of I don't even know what it would be considered, but like so for sure American history, right? And then going back a little bit further, like I guess you could say more along the lines of like, well, actually, no, I'm sticking with American history. So like from like the 1700s up until now interests me tremendously.
Well, you have to go to Charleston then.
So I've only been once, and I went on some sort of a tour there in a jail.
Was it a ghost tour? I went on that tour.
No, I did not go on a ghost tour.
Oh, okay.
But Charleston has a ton of historical sites.
It's the most haunted city in America.
How do you know so much about Charleston?
So I recently was there for my sister's bachelorette. She's getting married.
Okay.
And
Congratulations to her.
Thank you. And we went for the weekend to Charleston, and we did a ghost tour one of the nights, and it brought us into one of the oldest dungeons. So this was a dungeon from like colonial times.
Like
where it had
like the 1700s.
Yes, like literally like beginning 1700s, and it would they would put like pirates that they would catch that were trying to like loot and whatever. They would put them in that dungeon. Then like traitors for like the American Revolution, and it was apparently very haunted. There were some scary ghosts that were supposed to be down there. They didn't mess with me. I'm from the Bronx, but apparently they do mess with people. Like they'll poke or whatever. That's what our tour guide told us. Great tour guide. Bulldog Tours. Tour guide is Mo. Rocked.
There you go.
Give a shout out myself on your podcast.
Go for it.
But and so then like they walked us around town, showed us like super haunted spots. There's a part of Charleston, there's actually something buried beneath the Arms Distillery in Charleston that goes back to Sarah Proctor, a family from the Salem witch trials.
Ooh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So there's so much like history in Charleston because it was there from colonial times. So if you really love American history, you got to like explore that.
Charleston, when I was there, so I was there for a bachelor party, right? I went there for my brother's bachelor party, and then like everybody had left the next morning. My flight wasn't until like 5 o'clock, so I went on just a couple of I guess where it might have been the same jail, to be honest. It was like a smaller building, and you walked in and you walked downstairs, and there was just these huge cells, and they were talking about how they used to put traitors and pirates and stuff down there.
Probably the same place.
Yeah, so history for me is something that I enjoy. Like right now, one of my favorite things to do on YouTube is just go to the biography page and just listen to biographies. Most recently, the other day, I listened to Alexander Hamilton's biography. Oh. How familiar are you with Alexander Hamilton?
I'm a little familiar with him. I didn't see Hamilton the play, but I remember learning about him in history and just
do I. But like I didn't realize the extent of his influence on our current banking system. He basically birthed Wall Street. He was our first treasurer, and fun fact, he was our first political sex scandal.
Really?
Yes. So while he was treasurer, very fun fact, and this is totally off the
this
topic,
is so fun for me.
So while he was treasurer, right? First of all, George Washington was like his mentor.
Okay.
So he had a very good relationship with Washington. Washington named him Secretary of the Treasury. While he was treasurer, he was making payments to this very wealthy businessman. Okay. And a couple years later, they found out, and they never wanted to reveal it. His enemies never wanted to reveal it until after Washington wasn't president anymore.
Right.
Washington dies, and then they reveal, while Washington was still alive, they revealed it, and they thought that he was like funneling government funds to this businessman. And what it actually was he was having an affair with the businessman's wife, and the businessman was blackmailing him.
Oh my God.
Into making these payments.
Isn't history so there's like blackmail? It's like watching like a drama TV
Yep.
show when you read history books.
Another thing that I just actually started doing. So I'm a couple years older than you, but I was, in the 90s, the whole Bill Clinton scandal.
Yeah.
Like, I recognize these names, but now listening to, like, the Biography Channel did like a 5-part series on it in depth, and it's crazy the amount of stuff that he did. Like, insane. So, like, and that wasn't too long ago.
No.
That's modern history, right?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, we have that in common as well. So from the Bronx, history buff, school in Westchester. How did you get into real estate? I know Debbie introduced you, but like, what prompted you to take the test and not go into your major, right? Like you have a major and a minor, and you decided to choose a business that you're gonna have to build from the ground up.
Right. So I always thought I was going to be a lawyer, and I was going to go to law school. So when you go to law school, you can take your LSAT, and you could have minored in anything. Majored in anything. So I decided to major in things that really interested me, psychology and history. And then I was like, and then I'll take my LSATs, I'll go to law school, I'll become a lawyer. But I came out of school debt-free with the scholarship. And law school is extremely expensive. And I was like, why don't I work in a law firm as a paralegal first for a couple of years and figure out if this is really the path I want to go down, if I really want to spend all this money and go to law school and be miserable.
Smart decision.
So I went and I got a job as a paralegal in a law firm.
Okay.
And it just so happened to be a real estate law firm. And I worked on the mortgage end of the paperwork that lawyers have to do when you represent the bank. So in a real estate transaction, there's a bank attorney, a buyer's attorney, and a seller's attorney.
Yep.
The buyer's attorney and the bank attorney can sometimes be the same.
Yep.
And I would do all the paperwork that had to be done and filed, and all the really boring paperwork that the attorneys don't want to do. That's what I would prepare. And then I did that for a year and a half, and then I left because I was in Long Island.
Okay.
And then I left to another job in White Plains, and it was again a real estate law firm. So I went from one real estate law firm to another.
Yep.
And I worked on the buy and sell side. So I was doing the contracts and all of the affidavits and, the deeds and stuff like that for buyers and sellers. And I was really bored. It was like very monotonous work. It was the same thing every day. And I was in a cubicle.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the people at this law firm were the best people in the world. I loved them. But I was just, I was bored, and I was like, almost too efficient. They were like, we don't have anything else for you to do today. And I'd be like, okay. And so I started thinking, like, with my skills and also my personality and all this knowledge I have of real estate, what can I do?
Yeah.
And I decided to take the course, and I'm so happy that I did.
And you've been licensed for how long now?
I've been licensed for a little bit over 2 years.
Okay.
So I got licensed in April of 2023. I started with Keller Williams in like June of 2023. And now we're in September of 2025.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a little
Just
bit over 2 years.
And what was your first couple months like in real estate? Like, were you surprised at what you were seeing? Like, because you're used to working on paperwork and seeing that side of it. You're used to seeing the transactions come in.
Right.
But when you're an actual agent, you got to go make.
You got to
those
go get the transactions.
Exactly.
So I won't say I was surprised, because I've been warned by Debbie, I've been warned by Vinny, I've been warned by anybody you can be warned by. You're not going to make money in your first month, in your first 2 months, and whatever. Like, it's a hustle. You got to make your connections. You got to, meet people. You got to, like, get established. So my first few months were really just learning. I was like, okay, if that's the case, I'm going to go in this and get super educated on everything I have to talk about, so that when I do meet someone, it's not like, oh, this is a new agent fumbling through. It's like they can't tell if I'm a new agent or not.
Yep.
So that was, like, my mindset.
Okay.
So I definitely... I feel like even the course doesn't, like, tell you what you really have to do when you become an agent.
No, not at
it
all.
more tells you, like, just like the legalities of it.
Yes.
But so definitely I was just learning. I was learning everything from, like, scratch. It was a lot of learning, a lot of, like, really wanting to get my words right.
Okay.
But I'm also want to be authentic.
Yeah.
And just connect with people.
Yeah. And I think that for me, I find that being your authentic self always is a better choice, because there's no faking it.
Right.
So, like, listen, being a paralegal gives you an advantage over most agents, right? Like, I know, and I was never a paralegal, but I know just being in the business for so long what a contract should look like.
Right.
Most agents have never seen a contract,
Right.
nor do they know what a rider is, nor do
Right.
they know how to transfer deeds, nor do they know how to do these things. So that gives you an advantage over most agents.
Right.
Do you find, how did you find your first client?
My first client, I'm like, let me see. Like I did a few apartments first. I did a few apartment
As most
rentals,
agents,
and that kind of just
do.
came from the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, because once you post that you got your real estate license in New York City, everybody's gonna say, "I know somebody who wants to rent an apartment."
Yes, that's exactly
And
what
then you're
happens.
like, "Oh my
to you.
god!" And you get so excited, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I gotta go find them an apartment." And you probably came to Vinny and said, "I have a client who wants to rent an apartment."
Right.
And Vinny's probably like, "Great."
Right, yeah, Vinny and Debbie. I was like, they're like, okay, all right. But my first like sale
Yeah,
was my friend from high school.
love
She
it. Sphere
saw
of influence.
Preston High School.
Yeah.
She saw that I mean, we also keep in touch. We're very close. But she saw that I became an agent, and she was like, oh, this is great. My parents are first-time home buyers. They want to buy. You know, me and my brother are out of the house, but they still want to they want to buy something in Westchester.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's great. And like, you know, I knew her mother already, and then so I met her father. They're such great people, and they've referred me like so much business since then. It was so great. So that was my first experience, was working with them. So it was a nice like breaking in experience with the process, because my friend was obviously with us every step of the way, and someone I'm super comfortable with, someone I love, and it's her parents. And I'm like, obviously, like, I mean, I am going to hustle and work like my ass off for anybody. But like, you know, this is my first sale. This is my friend. I'm like, really like want them to have like the most perfect home ever. And then, you know, you learn there's no such thing as a perfect home.
That's true.
But
Just checking boxes.
right.
Yeah.
So that was my first.
And listing wise, do you remember how you got your first listing?
My first listing. Yes. So my first listing was a co-op in White Plains, the sweetest young couple ever. And then I actually helped them buy a home, and like I was with them when they like announced to me that they got pregnant. So we were working together,
like
and she
family.
got pregnant while they were working together, and I like that felt really special to me when they announced that to me. And that baby is now born and gorgeous, and I love that baby. But I was introduced to them by a loan officer. So I also worked at Wood and Fire.
Okay.
In Scarsdale. I still work there on Friday nights.
Really?
I don't want to give that job up. I love it. I love the people.
As a
server.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so this loan officer would come into Wood and Fire a lot. And they found out, because I worked at the Pleasantville location when I was in college at Pace. It's like right down the block.
Okay.
So then when I quit.
I love Wood and Fire, by the way.
Yeah?
Great food.
Come in on a Friday night on
great
Scarsdale.
food.
But so when I quit the law firm, because I became a real estate agent, I didn't keep working at the law firm when I joined Keller Williams. I quit the law firm because I wanted to do real estate full time, which is what I do.
Yep.
And then, but I was quitting a salaried job to start a commission-based job.
A business.
Right, to start a business.
There you go.
And and I was like, you know what? I still want money coming in weekly.
Yep.
And, you know, I didn't want to just live off my savings. I wanted money coming in weekly. I'd also bought a house the year before. So I went back to Wood and Fire. I was like, do you have anything at the Scarsdale location? And they did. So then I started working there like 3 nights a week, went down to 2. Now I'm down to 1.
Okay, good.
But yeah, that's a great environment too.
I feel that people, I was just talking about this with somebody yesterday, that every single person should work a service job at one point in their life.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you, in my opinion, it teaches you, number one, how to serve people, right? And really put the customer first.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, you get a real appreciation for the people that are serving you. So gratuities, right? Like, you know, I was in the service industry up until, honestly, like I owned a bar. I just closed it in August.
Oh, wow.
But I've been in the business since I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Busboy, waiter, bartender, manager,
Right, worked your
owner,
way up.
every single position. So when I'm going out and I'm, getting service, first of all, I'm very picky because I love good service. And if I
Yeah.
don't get it, I'm under my breath to my fiance, like, do you believe this? We've been sitting here for 5 minutes and I haven't got my bread yet.
You know, it's so funny. Our manager always talks about that. Like people care about service. Like you
Yes.
need to, in 5 minutes, greet
Yes.
them. At least, like, you have to go over and greet them.
Acknowledge them.
Yes.
Right? Hey, I'll be right with you. I'm a little busy.
Right.
Something along those lines. But anyway, I feel like working in the service industry is important for me and because I'm able to appreciate the people that are serving you.
Absolutely. And I mean, I've basically been working in the service industry since I was like 15 because my first job was at a tanning salon, but you're like the salesperson and the person who puts them in the beds because you sell them the lotions and the packages.
Yeah.
And then I worked at Conti's pastry shop.
Okay. I've heard of Conti's. Where's Conti's?
It's in Morris Park.
Yeah.
It's down towards White Plains Road.
Okay.
And it's been around since 1920.
Yes, okay.
So it's, the best arugula cookies you'll ever have.
Really?
I used to eat a lot of them when I would work.
I just recently started getting into arugula cookies.
They're so
I didn't really like them growing up.
Oh my God. The chocolate ones are my favorite. Okay. The chocolate ones, they're the best ones. But the raspberry and the apricot that Conti's have are really good too. If you have to have a fruit jam cookie. But so then I worked there. And then from there, I worked in college at another tanning salon and at restaurants.
Okay.
So, I've been working in the service industry since I was 15.
And I kind of, so we were talking about real estate. I feel like we got off track talking about cookies. But what kind of struggles did you have in the beginning? Besides, like, I know you said you were focused on learning and getting your words right, but like, what kind of struggles did you have? And was there ever a time where you felt like this is not for me or this is not what I want to do?
So I would say like some struggles I have would be, lead generation. That's the cornerstone of any real estate business.
Yeah.
And yet it's the thing that like I almost dreaded the most was like calling people and feeling like I'm bothering them. I also don't want anyone to feel like I only care about getting business from them.
Yep.
And although I know I'm not that person and I'll never come across that way, it's the fear of coming across that way.
Yeah.
So that was tough for me to like get out of my own way with that. And even like social media, which I've been doing a lot more of, to like put myself on social media in a silly way or any other way was like really uncomfortable for me because I kind of like compartmentalize certain things. So I'm like, this is a business, I'm professional. And you're still professional, but you're just like trying to like reach another audience or so those were struggles for me. I'm getting more comfortable with it.
How did you get around that whole I don't want to bother people?
I need to make money. I need to build my business somehow. And I know that I have a lot of value and that like, Keller Williams really helped me. Just like always having classes and talking about communicating your value. And, you're not bothering people. You're trying to help and improve their lives.
Yep.
And so when you come from that standpoint and when you have that perspective and me even, buying my house is the thing I'm like probably most proud of. And I feel like it did like in a way like really change my life, me and my sister's life because we bought the house together. And I am just like, I'm so like proud of that. And I'm so like, I feel so like grateful that I was able to do that at my age. I mean, like I was like working 3 jobs, saving my money, but like still like the fact that I like was in that position to be able to do that. And I want to help other people feel that way and do that and like sell their homes that they like, that they lived in for 30 years. They made all their memories with their children. I sold one of my family friends' homes and she's like in tears the whole process because her 2 kids grew up in this house and she grew up in that neighborhood and like this house meant so much to her. And like when you have like, it feels really good to do that.
To help people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like most agents, and just going back to your point about feeling like you're actually calling to provide value instead of bothering somebody is something that a lot of agents struggle with early on. And Ben Kinney, you know who that is?
Yes, I do.
So Ben Kinney was giving he has a video on YouTube and he's, I think it's like how to generate 500 leads a year or whatever it is. And he says that when you feel like, if I'm calling you and I feel like I have a $50 bill in my hand, will I feel like I'm bothering you? And the answer is obviously no. So when you're calling somebody, just remember that you're calling to help them either make or save money and help their family. And then that's a good way for people to get out of their way thinking about they're bothering somebody.
Right.
And also just to be genuine.
Right.
Like if you speak to somebody a week before, they're just like, hey, I don't have any interest. Don't call them the next day, right?
Right.
Like say, hey, do you mind if I keep you in my database? Do you mind if I follow up with you from time to time?
Right.
I don't want to bug you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that. They just put people on these drip campaigns and they just wait for somebody to raise their hand and hopefully they'll get lucky.
And honestly, another way I got out of it was like feeling like, you know what, like I can like almost like give back to the people in my database too. So like I like doing events. It's something I enjoy. And then you get to actually like spend, I guess like one of my love languages is like quality time.
Okay.
So it's like I get like quality time with the people that, you know, would be my clients.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of events do you do?
So I recently did at Preston High School. I rented the backyard because Preston is on the water and has this gorgeous, beautiful backyard that not many people know about. And it even has like a huge porch that's covered with tables. It's really nice. And so I did a wellness event in August where I just like invited a bunch of clients. I had food. I had a yoga instructor. I had some music going. And,
cool.
you know, if someone wanted to bring their kids, I had a little kiddie corner where they could do puzzles or color. And just like, you know, mingle. There was a raffle there. So you could win a prize. So that's what I did as like a client appreciation event.
Did you have a good turnout?
I did. I had like 15 people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And those are 15 people. Like, so your average person would hear that and be like, oh, only 15 people. But those are 15 deep connections that you've just built with those people. And those 15 people then, if they tell one other person about you and your business, now you're at 30. And then they tell one person. Like, you just never know.
No, like 2 of those people have already referred me to people twice. Each of them have referred me to people twice. Yeah. And for me, like, I'm so grateful for that. So, like, I love that, like, I can, like, have an event that I plan months in advance and, like, make sure I spend time with them or give back to them.
What advice would you give to somebody who is just getting started in real estate today?
Take it one step at a time. It can be really, really overwhelming because you are your entire business. You are, especially when you're starting out, you're your admin, you're your lead generator, you're your showing agent. You're the person to call for all the people that you need involved, like photography, you know, like you are your whole business and it can feel really overwhelming. So take it one step at a time. If you're at Keller Williams, go to the classes offered. If you're not at Keller Williams, go to Keller Williams and really like take it one step at a time and build your systems, because that's what's gonna like relieve the stress once your business starts taking off.
So I'm gonna take it one step further and ask you, because somebody's gonna say, well, yeah, she says build her systems, but what do you mean by that?
So, you know, when you like, you know, it's like being very routine with how you treat your clients and how you deal with the transaction as it goes. Having a routine with that, like 3 days before an inspection, making like, you know, that you're supposed to like, you know, call your client, give them a rundown of how the inspection may go, make sure they're prepared for it, make sure you remind them of the date and the time so that they will be there. And then, you know, the follow up on that after the inspection.
Working with the listing, right? Let's just say you take a listing today. Give me just a brief overview of your system. Let's say I hire Paige. I want you to sell my house. And we just signed an agreement.
We signed the agreement. So we probably went over all of the ways that I'm going to advertise and get this house sold. So my first thing that I'm going to do is, you know, whatever we discussed, I'm going to hire a photographer, or, you know, it depends on what we discussed, right? Because some people need to get their house prepared.
Let's assume I don't need any work done to my house.
Right.
And I'm ready for photos.
Okay, so then I'm going to schedule a photographer to come to your house. I'm going to let you know the time frame in which we should be receiving those photos, as well as when I receive the photos, follow up with you that I received the photos, and then follow up with you on when the listing is going to be posted, which we've previously discussed. Then after the listing's posted, I usually have my clients on with the showing time so they know when the showings are going, but then just like following up every Monday with the showings that we have for the week and also the feedback we've gotten from the showings the week prior. And then, you know, we'll have a designated day where I'm going to follow up with you. And then just, once we get offers or we start getting offers in, usually like, alerting them when each offer comes in, but then also scheduling a day so that we can review all of the offers together.
I just accepted an offer.
You just accepted an offer?
No,
like in real life?
No, like in
like in the system?
In the system. I just accepted an offer.
Okay, accepted an offer, right? So then next there may be an inspection from the buyer.
Yes, I want to do an inspection. They want to do an inspection.
Right, so sending an email, letting them know when first we have to agree when the inspection is going to be, right? But then like an email also letting them know what the rundown of the inspection can entail. And then, getting the attorneys prepped that the inspection's going on, having that memo sent out right after the accepted offer. Inspection happens, and then, boom, 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 that gets whatever happens.
No issues in the inspection.
No issues in the inspection, then we're going to move into contract.
Okay, what does that mean?
So that means that there was no issues with the inspection. It went to the attorneys. There's no issues with the inspection, so they go off the memo of sale that was sent right after the accepted offer. Mm-hmm. So now the attorneys are going to draft up a contract. Okay. Most of the time, that will go back and forth about 3 times. The listing attorney, the seller's attorney, drafts up a contract, sends it over to the buyer's attorney. The buyer's attorney marks it up with their legalese, adds their buyer's rider. There's always a buyer's rider. It is nothing to be scared about. The buyer's rider and the markup goes back to the seller's attorney. Then the seller's attorney marks it up because they're going to mark up the buyer rider. Yep. They're going to say, I didn't like the legalese you added in the contract.
Yep.
Then they send it back. Buyer's attorney, most of the time, is like, okay, cool. Your little commas or changing of a word is cool with me. My client's still protected. We agree. And then it gets explained to each client. They get signed, and now we're in contract. Once the seller signs, because the buyer's always going to sign first, you're officially in contract. Once we're in contract, we need if there's a mortgage, you need the mortgage process to begin as soon as we sign contract.
Underwriting.
The underwriting of the mortgage. And also you need title to come in. You need the title on the property. Mm-hmm. So really then it's just with the seller checking in every week, letting them know that those milestones have been hit. And, if anything comes up, me first like assessing the situation and then figuring out our solutions with how we're going to deal with it, alerting the seller, and so that we can come up with a game plan.
So we started this going into what's your system, right?
Right.
So most sellers and or buyers don't realize that all of these moving parts are going on at one time. And it sounds to me, and I haven't done a deal with you yet, but it sounds to me like you have a pretty good grasp on the transaction,
right? How
it's supposed to flow, and being able to navigate for your clients if there are any issues.
Yes. And I mean, I definitely, a lot that made that an easy transition for real estate was my background in being a paralegal, because I dealt with the whole after contract.
Yeah. That's when you came into the transaction.
Right. Now that's where the attorney takes over a lot, and where I kind of, where you like peel back a little bit, because that's the attorney's realm.
Yes.
But I'm still able to like stick with my client through the whole transaction and maybe even explain things a little bit better. Never give legal advice.
Never.
But just like if they're like, what does that word mean? Or what is this? Like, what's a contingency? It's like, well, that's always explained before, but still you can help them when the contract comes about.
So for newer agents, it sounds like what you're saying is sit down with an experienced agent and or somebody in their office, somebody that's done this before, and say, hey, can you give me maybe 10 steps for if I get a listing, what I should do?
Right.
And then that is what their system would be for their listings. Right. And then as you go through each step, there's going to be sub steps.
Right, that you want to personalize, or you feel there's like an approach or a way to say it better to the client, or whatever you feel, having kind of like a template of like of how like the subsections of each part.
Yeah. So for newer agents, Paige's advice is learn a system. And then as you're going through it, you adjust and proceed from there.
Right.
Dealing with sellers are probably the most important system that they should learn. I would think you would agree.
Right.
And then dealing with buyers.
Yes.
And then if you decide to get into renting, then you should obviously
have a system for that as well.
Exactly.
Or know the transaction very well and have like a way that you move through it. Just to like stay organized and really feel like you're giving your clients the best service.
And I think it's okay for newer agents to realize that you don't have to have the answers to everything.
Yeah. I still don't know everything.
Yeah, of course not. Neither do I. And I'm doing it 20 years. You're doing it 3 years, 2 years. Like, we don't have the answers to that. There's always going to be somebody that knows more. But be willing to tell your clients that.
Right.
Be willing to tell them that, hey, I'm going to find out for you.
Right. Well, be willing to get educated on what you don't know.
I think that goes into the team player part, right? Like, certain personality types won't do that.
Right.
And then they'll fumble and they'll end up messing up their clients. So the benefit of you growing up in a household with people, you know, multiple siblings and being on a team helps you in your business to that degree, I think, as well.
Yeah, very like tight-knit community, and like there's always something to learn.
Yep. You, where do you see, so I'm going to pivot a little bit because I've seen a lot of stuff on your social media about new construction.
Okay, yeah.
So tell me just a little bit about some of the deals that you may or may not be working on, or some of your experiences with new construction.
So I have a listing right now. It's in Ossining. It is an in-progress new construction, so it's still being finished. And I'm really excited to see it when it's finished too, because I know it's going to be so beautiful. So I met this builder, and he's great. He's actually like almost 80 years old and still like working, right? I came to the property one day, he's shoveling dirt.
Yeah, God bless.
I was like, what are you doing with the shovel? Like, what? He's 80, okay? Which just goes to show you that's all, like, you know, it's all in your mind. But we hit it off, and he was starting this build, and my dad is in contracting.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, like, I know some, you know, I even just, like, knowing terms, and me and my sister when we bought our home, we had it fully renovated. We made it a 2-family. So just, like, going through that process, I was very aware of things.
It's a very big process.
And so when I met him, I guess, like, we really just, like, jived well. And he showed me what his plans were, his architectural plans. And he, you know, we got along. So he was like, do you want to list it? And I was like, of course I do. Like, yes.
How long before the house is ready?
It should be ready October 15th. Like, and when I say ready, I mean, like, town inspector has come, looked at it. Yep. It's inspected. The builder's looking to get into contract before it's even ready.
Yep. So are you actively marketing it right now?
Yeah, it's on the MLS. I'm marketing it. You said you've seen stuff on social media.
I did,
it's because I'm posting it up. Each step as it, like, builds.
What's the price?
$850.
$850. Okay. And let me ask you a question. Are the taxes already set in place, or are they going to now increase because of the new build?
So it was a vacant lot. So what it was, it wasn't vacant, I guess. It was a parking lot for a diner across the street.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this builder had bought both. The diner, I believe, had special use zoning, so it went back to being residential. He sold that to somebody else, and then he decided to develop on the parking lot grounds.
Okay.
And wait, what was the question?
Taxes. Oh, taxes. How do they determine taxes?
So the taxes for the parking lot were like nothing.
Yep.
It was like it was so small. And so that's still what I like had to legally put the taxes as, but the estimated taxes in that area of Ossining are around like $20,000.
Okay.
So that's what I think after it's built and sold, it's going to land around.
I have a very good tax assessor if you want to put him in contact.
I would love
to kind
that.
of get an idea of what they are going to be. And then when they come out, if they're a little bit too high, whoever your buyer is can maybe go and grieve them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because, you know, these towns, they I don't want to say they come up with arbitrary numbers because obviously there's a tax basis for properties, but sometimes it's a bit egregious and then you have to go back and try to file a grievance.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms, bathrooms? Tell me about the house. Sell me.
So
sell me.
It's
this is your chance right now.
I know.
Sell me.
It's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It has a fully finished basement, 2-car garage. It's 2250 square feet. Attic with wood flooring for extra storage. It has a HVAC central air system that is a high efficiency, save you a lot of money in your bills. And it has like a wraparound deck in the back. Nice. So they have sliding doors leaving from the kitchen because the kitchen is on the 2nd level. Okay. So Ossining has a lot of hills, as do like that whole Hudson line.
It's a river town.
Yeah. And it's actually on a block that's a dead end. And if you go all the way to the dead end and then you go down a path, so it's up on a hill, so no water or flooding issues. But you go down the path, there's this really nice little grass park with the water right there. And then it has the washer dryer on the same floor as the bedrooms.
Ooh, that's convenient.
Isn't it?
That's convenient. Love that.
You do your laundry and you walk it right into your bedroom. No carrying it up the steps.
Love that.
And then there's also another washroom though on the bottom floor in the basement. So
Okay.
I don't know. But it's going to be beautifully landscaped, big front yard, very long driveway leading to your 2-car garage. So it's going to be such a beautiful space.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it needs the electrician's coming this week. Once he finishes all the electricity, I don't even know how to say it. But then it's going to be, they're going to do the installation and the sheetrocking. And then once that happens, it's really just cosmetic. But if someone were to get into contract as the sheetrocking is being finished or before the cosmetic things happen, the builder's very open to you customizing the space.
Nice.
So how that kind of looked, like people have questions about that, like do I pay extra? So the builder has a budget for everything he was going to spend on the house. If you want something more expensive, you just pay the difference.
Understood.
So you know, for appliances and stuff, he has a budget.
Exactly.
He's doing hardwood floors, which is what most people want. And he's like, oh, and I'll stain that whatever color they want. Like, that's obviously nothing extra. He's doing tile in the bathrooms. But like, you know, if you want like a restaurant Michelin quality stove, you're just gonna have to pay the difference because he's just paying the typical top of the line appliances.
Of course. Sounds beautiful, man. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of start veering towards the end of this episode, I have just a couple deeper questions for you. What question do you wish clients would ask you more often, but they don't?
What I wish they would ask me more often. Oh, wow. I don't know.
Do you find yourself in certain situations where it's like the same situation over and over and you wish somebody would have just asked you that?
So, well, you know what I wish? I wish sometimes that clients would be more transparent. Not necessarily ask me questions. I feel like a lot of my job is to like make sure I ask them enough questions so that I know, you know, their motivation and how to get them exactly what they want. But sometimes I feel like people, for whatever their reasons are, aren't so forthcoming with like what they're like what they really want at the end of the day.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what they need to happen at the end of the day for the transaction to make sense for them. I feel like sometimes people aren't so forthcoming, and sometimes I just find myself wishing like, oh, I wish you would have told me that in the beginning when I asked you that. So like that's more what I wish clients would do.
What is one myth about buying or selling that you would love to debunk?
That there's ever a wrong time.
There you go. Okay. Expound a little bit.
I guess, well, it has to work for your life, right? When you're selling or buying, but I find that there's definitely there's never a wrong time to buy if you can afford the mortgage or you can afford the payments of the property. Because it's going to build equity. You're giving your money back to yourself. And, there's always refinancing and there's always, you have so many more opportunities once you own a home.
Yep. Gary Keller says that when you think about your exit plan, that should determine whether or not you're going to buy. So if you're going to be in a home for anywhere from like 5 to 10 years, most markets move in cycles, and those cycles are usually 3 to 7 years. So if you're planning on buying and then moving in 3 years, it might not be the right time for you.
Right.
But if you plan on being there 5 to 10 years, if you plan on saying, you know what, I'm buying this home because I want to put my kids in this school, and I know that they're going to go through the entire school system, then you're not going to get hurt because you're going to survive any sort of cycles that may decrease value. Right.
So I don't always say like date the rate, only because if you can't afford those house payments, if you're going to be like drowning, then that's not the right house for you. But if you can find a space, which you can, that you can afford and you can like afford the monthly payments, I think it's always the right time for you to buy.
One of the posts that I saw on your social media was that you were asking people about understanding their big why.
Yeah.
What is your big why? Why do you do this? We've talked about you going from, being a server, being an athlete, working in a law firm, psychology, history minor. Why this? And what is your big why? What's your motivating why? On those days where it feels like, I can't do this anymore? How do you keep going?
I guess like freedom in every sense of the word. Financial freedom, personal freedom. Like I feel like I like that I can make my business my own. Like I truly believe in life. I said it before, like what you put into it, you get out of it. And that's why I really love real estate, because it's a hustle. But if you're willing to hustle and do the work, you can build a great business and like leave a legacy behind and leave something behind for like my children. When I eventually have children, I want to leave them with things. And while I'm living now, I also want to be able to give my family things. Like I have goals that I want to achieve so that my family's life can be easier, and my life, I can have the freedom to pursue all kinds of passions. Like I love history. Like I would love to go do an archaeological dig in Egypt. Like that's a goal of mine, to do that. So I guess that's my big why. So when it feels really hard on days, I remember that one. I really believe in real estate. I believe that it's the best way to, get an asset, secure your economic stability. And I believe that like it really just is the best thing for people to do. And then I think about the fact that it's moving me more and more towards financial freedom and personal freedom to pursue whatever I want in life.
And here's a question that I ask everybody that has sat in that chair.
Okay.
After you're long gone, what is it that you want people to say about Paige?
Like I told you earlier, I wrote an obituary for myself when I was in college because I had to. It was an assignment in class. I'm not just like in my room writing obituaries. But, and in that obituary, I said about how I was a mother to a lot of kids. I had owned a few businesses. I was very charitable. I gave back a lot. And that I was like, I invented something. I lived a lot of lives in this obituary. I really made my life count. But I guess what I really want people to remember me as, I mean, what's most important to me is my family. So that I was family oriented, and that I was genuine, and I pursued my passions. I never gave up. That's how I want to be remembered, as someone who was like passionate and like loving and just like, there for the people that were in her life.
I think you're well on your path.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So just fun, this or that, real estate themed.
Okay.
Condo or co-op?
Condo.
Attached or detached house?
Detached.
Open houses or private showings?
Private showings.
Buyers or sellers to work with?
Sellers.
Cash deal or finance deal?
Cash.
Closing day gift, champagne or gift card? Or none of the above?
None of the above.
What are you throwing?
I like doing a personalized gift that like something they've told me along the transaction. Like even one time for a client, like I bought them stuff for their dog because they were like really like loved their dog.
All right, now more fun and personal. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Sunrise or sunset?
Oh, rise.
Beach house or mountain cabin?
Beach house. Love the beach. I literally have a sea turtle tattoo.
I feel like we've kind of gone through some of this stuff, but sneakers or heels?
Sneakers.
Pizza night or sushi?
Pizza.
Road trip or flight?
Flight.
Karaoke or dancing?
Oh, that's both. I'm going to dance while I sing karaoke. I love karaoke. I love dancing. I sound terrible, so I should choose dancing because I make people's ears bleed, but I love them both.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to look right into that camera right there and tell
Okay.
people how to get in touch with you.
You can get in touch with me through my Instagram at the real estate Paige, has an underscore after Paige. I spell Paige with an I. Or through my email, paigecastiello@kw.com. Or you can call me at 347-880-2494.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I think that I personally, and this is kind of a selfish thing, got to know you a whole lot better.
Yeah.
And everybody who watches this, I feel like got to know the real, authentic Paige.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was really cool. It's so cool in here. I love this Monopoly board. I feel like I'm on TV. Maybe the challenge will see this and they'll ask me to come on.
Wait, hold on. We didn't talk about The Amazing Race.
Oh, yes. I was on The
I'm sorry,
Amazing
just
Race.
P.S. You said that you were a finalist.
Well, I wasn't on The Amazing Race. I was a finalist. I was almost on The Amazing Race.
Just give me a little bit about that. So what made you want to even...
So my grandma loves The Amazing Race, and she's always watched like Survivor, The Amazing Race, like all these game shows growing up. I'm very close with my grandmother. And so my friend Sam that I went to college with, her mother also loves The Amazing Race. Okay. And we were at her house. She's from the Jersey Shore, so a character as well. And her mom was like, you two would be hysterical on The Amazing Race. Like, if you two were on The Amazing Race, not only do I think you girls would win, but you'd be hysterical. Because we really balance each other. Like, I'm very athletic. She's very artistic. You know, she can read a map. I can drive us. I mean, my friends would say I can't drive, but I've learned how to drive stick. So that's what you need to know to be on The Amazing Race. And so, like, we were just a really good pair. And we're also very funny. So one day she's at my house and I'm like, you want to make an audition video for The Amazing Race? We literally made it in my car. So you could see up our nose, terrible lighting, our hair's not done. We're in sweatshirts, you know. I'm just like so funny. I was like so like Bronx and funny in that video. We get a call the next week. We thought we were being punked. They're like, listen, you girls are phenomenal. Then they were like, to me, they're like, we love your voice. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. They were like, but you like need to redo your video. We could see up your nose. And I was like, okay, I understand. We'll redo the video. So we like redid a video. We sent it in. We went through all these interviews. And then we were flown out to LA. We were one of the top 22 teams chosen out of like the thousands that sent in videos. But we did not make the top 11 cut.
Well, Amazing Race, you guys missed out.
I know, and that's like a really cool show, you know? I like the shows that like I like Amazing Race and The Challenge because there's like, I mean, there's drama, but there's not like so much drama. Like you could stay out of the drama and you're doing like all these cool challenges, traveling around the world. I love that. The challenge these days has gotten really physical and less about the drama, especially when they took away all the booze. Right. Yeah. So now like you got these really like super jacked. Well, they all used to beat each other up when there were booze. They were like, we can't keep having this happen. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. Everybody, this has been another episode of the Padernacht Podcast, Brick by Brick. Stay tuned for a next episode coming up every single week. Thank you for having me.